Eiichiro Oda might be one of the greatest writers we have in contemporary times. And today, we're going to be talking about how he is a master at writing compelling side characters. Better than almost any story I can think of in recent memory. And if you want to know how he does it, then I would just stick around, because today, we're going to be talking about Bartholomew Kuma. Hey y'all, Chill here, all the way back from the God Valley incident, back for a brand new One Piece video. The last One Piece video did pretty well. I mean, you guys seem to really enjoy it, and people in my comments have been asking me, when's the next One Piece video? When's the next One Piece video? Even though you can actually catch me reading One Piece live on stream every single Thursday, 7 p.m. PST. But yeah, people have been asking me when's the next One Piece video, so here it is, something I've been actually working on for a long time. With One Piece, yeah, I could just yap about, my favorite arcs or my favorite characters, but I want to actually get into something deep here. I mean, Chillixion is your one-stop shop for unhinged animation discussions and analysis. So, we're gonna be doing some heavy analysis here. Well, okay, not heavy, more like medium analysis, something light, an analysis salad, if you will. If you're watching this video, that means that you love One Piece and therefore you love its characters. No matter where you are, whether that's East Blue, Sky Island, Whole Cake Island, Marineford, whatever. But if you're currently or just finished reading the Egghead Island arc, then you will know that one of the best characters, not only in that arc, but within the story as a whole, is Bartholomew Kuma. This video will contain spoilers for the Egghead Island arc of One Piece, just letting you know. And not only was Kuma one of the best characters in the arc, but his backstory is debatably one of, if not the best backstory in One Piece. So storytellers, in this video, I'm gonna teach you how Eiichiro Oda uses his writing to give Kuma one of the greatest backstories in the entirety of One Piece, but also making an extremely compelling character seemingly out of nowhere. And soon you'll realize that it seemed like Kuma had all of the odds against him. But enough of the introductions, enough of the stalling, let's get straight into the video. After these messages.
We'll be right back with more Chillixion.
Hey, you, come here real quick. I have a question for you. How are you liking the video so far? I know it sounds like a weird question, but seriously, do you guys like the One Piece content? I know the last video I made did extremely well, but I want to know, do you guys want more One Piece based videos? Well, if you do, there's one way that you can help me. Clicking that like button. Oh my god, I got you once again, but seriously, clicking that like button lets me know that you guys want more content just like this. I mean, the One Piece video did well, and look, more One Piece content. So if you guys want to see more One Piece content on the channel, let's get this video to 50 likes. Yeah, 50 likes. Support the content and support the creator. It's because of viewers like you that I can keep making videos like this and, keep getting more and more ambitious with my topics. I mean, I never would have thought that an entire video about Kuma would be made, but here we are. Anyway, let's get back into the video.
Welcome back for more Chillixion.
So when looking at how Oda writes side characters and makes them compelling, we first need to look at how he introduces side characters. And with Kuma, it's pretty easy. Kuma was introduced as a one-note antagonist. Now, hold on right there, viewer. Before you get insulted that, I made fun of your favorite character, this is not an insulting statement. This is just an observation. Kuma, when he was introduced in the Jaya arc, was just a villain. He did not talk, I think, at all. He kind of looked odd, and he didn't do much. This is, by definition, a one-note antagonist. In my opinion, though, I actually think that this was the perfect introduction for Kuma. As a writer, when you are introducing a brand new character, you want your audience to essentially instantly understand who they are by their initial appearance. Obviously, this can be done in multiple ways, whether it's their first line or their character design, but you just want to, make the audience instantly understand who this person is. And with a story that is so big as One Piece with so many characters, a lot of those initial first impressions are gonna seem kind of one note. And in my opinion, that provides the audience with one thing: the opportunity to get surprised. Because there are a lot of characters in One Piece, okay? And not all of them are going to become compelling side characters. Some of them are just going to be random background characters or the occasional side character that is not given any love by Oda. Insert your favorite side character that you think deserves more love here. So as fans, it's actually kind of hard from our initial impression of a character to know if they are going to be, extremely important or, just random fodder. Like, yes, sometimes it is obvious, but there's a lot of times where we're sort of left questioning. And therefore, when the character is developed upon and actually becomes compelling, we are then surprised. Because that was unexpected. But that was in the Jaya arc. The next time we see Kuma, and actually the time I think most people think of when they think of Kuma's first appearance, is in Thriller Bark. Here, Kuma is a threatening presence. Obviously, we knew he was a warlord already if we were paying attention, but here he is sent on a mission to take down the Straw Hats. And you know what? I'm gonna say something that's not in my script. Thriller Bark might have been the perfect arc to have Kuma in. Because Thriller Bark is kind of, how do I say it? Really fucking boring. Aside from Brook's backstory and the appearance of Kuma, Thriller Bark does not do that much that I think is personally entertaining. And when I wasn't bored, I was being grossed out by all the perv jokes in this arc. Like, it happens all the time in One Piece, but in this arc it is especially disgusting and repulsive. And a consistent issue. Like, I don't know what Oda was on, but I'm glad he's off that right now. So in an arc like Thriller Bark, okay, sounds like a rap. In an arc like Thriller Bark, your mom's a fucking narc. I'ma blast your face, I'ma blast your face, I'ma blast your fucking face. In an arc like this, Kuma's appearance signals to all of the audience shit is getting real. He has a threatening presence, and he has unknown motives. Like, we can infer that he's here to take down the Straw Hats, but we don't really know what his mission is exactly. And most importantly, is his mysterious sense of mercy. He does not immediately demolish all of the Straw Hats. He actually lets them escape. I don't know, Kuma in that arc definitely had the strength to take all the Straw Hats down, and we could tell that as the audience, but he wasn't using it. But aside from that and a few, little breadcrumbs of mysteries for later, Kuma is still that one-note antagonist. Then we have the Sabaody Archipelago. Every One Piece fan knows exactly the moment I'm talking about, when Kuma comes in after the auction house and begins to deliver us one of the most emotionally devastating parts of One Piece. And it's actually that exact reason why this is a genius placement for Kuma. This part is very emotional and is very stressful for both our characters and for the audience. When so much shit is happening, it is very hard to stop your reading and pay attention to background details and or hints to other characters that are not your main cast, that are actively being sent to who knows where. I mean, even the appearance of Kizaru, an admiral, was just so stressful, you can't blame audiences for not noticing the hints. The hints of what, you may say? Well, if you don't remember, Kuma was kind of saving the Straw Hat's life. Obviously him interrupting the PX-1, but also him using the pawpaw fruit. Yes, in retrospect, at this point in the manga, it is plainly obvious that he was helping the Straw Hats, but even at the time, because we've seen Kuma use his pawpaw powers, and even on Perona, I don't think anyone thought that Perona just, exploded. So Kuma taking care of the Straw Hats, to us, it didn't feel like they were dying. Even if to Luffy, he definitely thought that. But it was just such a stressful moment after such a massive loss. I mean, we just won in Thriller Bark. Why not think that Straw Hats could take on an admiral and the Celestial Dragons and all that? Like, them actively having to run away and lose was enough emotional stress to distract us from, Kuma kind of saving their lives. Because if Kuma wasn't there, they would have been dead. Therefore, even though Kuma, was actively saving the Straw Hats' life, getting them away from this immediate danger, this occurred after a loss. And the crew being split up is still emotionally devastating for Luffy and for us. I mean, they're our family, they're our Nakama, they're on the ship. What is the story gonna be with them elsewhere? But yeah, this is an amazing part for Oda as a writer to just, hide as many hints, for Kuma's lore as possible. Even him saying, we will never meet again. Oda definitely had something cooking up. I mean, he definitely had something cooking up for a while, but here is the point where he started, putting the breadcrumbs for us to eventually find. I mean, during Thriller Bark, we even saw, visual evidence that Kuma was getting roboticized. So with all of this leading into the middle of the story, the Summit Wars saga, we as the audience are left with one question about Bartholomew Kuma. Who is he? No, but seriously, like at this point, remember when you were reading at this point, what did you think Kuma was? I'll say what I thought. I thought he was just a robot guy. I don't really think I understood what was going on, and I was really confused. And I think deep in my heart, I thought that all One Piece fans already knew the answer by the time I got caught up. And then when I got caught up, I stopped thinking about him, but it really makes you question. And obviously us One Piece fans know that Oda loves his questions. He loves setting up mysteries in every single arc and having mysteries tied to, you know, pieces of lore, pieces of world building, and pieces of characters. So now this one-note villain that could have easily never appeared after Jaya now has massive questions attached to him. I mean, why is he helping the Straw Hats? Does he know the Straw Hats? Why is he a robot? Where did he send them? Where did he send Perona? Like, why didn't he kill them? Who is he? And why does he have a Bible? Like, not enough people talked about the Bible. I know Oda does some weird character design stuff, but this seems like a massive part of the character that we just kind of didn't mention as much, maybe? I don't know. I started reading One Piece in 2020, so maybe this is like old news, but this always confused me, and until very recently, it didn't make sense. But giving the audience this question then makes them clamor for an answer. And as a writer, that means that you now know something that the audience wants. An answer to who Kuma is. And I think that's pretty important for storytelling. I mean, as storytellers, we are not only, you know, just describing fictional events, but we are performing to an audience, giving them an experience. And in a way, our desire is to make them want to hear more. Because the worst feeling is when you're telling a story and the person you're telling it to obviously doesn't care. And in terms of manga and anime, that not caring means that you don't get the money and then means your story is done because it gets canceled. So now that we have the question, who is Kuma, we continue the story into Marineford. And at this point, we have already met another crucial character, Ivankov. Ivankov's existence expands one faction, that being the revolutionaries. And I guess the gays too. So when Ivankov and Kuma meet, and we hear that Ivankov knows of Kuma, and that apparently Kuma is supposed to know of Ivankov as well, I mean, what? How do they know each other? Why do they know each other? Is Kuma, you know, involved with the revolutionaries of some kind? And then Doflamingo tells us that Kuma has fully become a modified human. This is an answer. I mean, in Thriller Bark, he would look like a robot. Why was he a robot? Now we know he is fully a modified human. And the government did this to him, and this leads to our second answer. Kuma hated the government, said by Ivankov. Now I cannot pretend that this one phrase answers 1 million questions. I can't even pretend that this one phrase 100% confirmed to fans that Kuma was a revolutionary, but it definitely confirmed that at some point, Kuma had a revolutionary mindset. The same mindset that our protagonists have, meaning that this at one point one-note antagonist has changed moralities. And obviously now we know the exact context of it, and changing moralities isn't exactly accurate, but at the time, this is the simplest conclusion we could have come to. And then finally, this is all wrapped up in post-war with Shaki saying that Kuma was once an ally. So we know that Warlord Kuma was once an ally. Once he hated the government, but that has changed at some point because he is now a modified human. However, he did still savor Straw Hats. Why? Well, that may be because Kuma was a revolutionary, and this was revealed in the post-war flashbacks. And this is another answer. So all of this together expands the question of who is Kuma, because we do have some answers. We know that Kuma was once a revolutionary ally. We know that Kuma is now a modified human. But we still have some questions. When did he fully become a modified human? And why was he saving the Straw Hats not too long ago before Doflamingo said he was 100% a government asset? If Kuma was a revolutionary, when did he start working with the government? And why was Ivankov so surprised at his sudden change? I mean, Kuma was obviously protecting Luffy because, you know, he's Dragon's kid, but that has so many other questions. He was protecting Luffy as he was working with the government, and he was seemingly still being modified. And just so many other things. I know it may seem silly to now ask these questions, especially because we have answers for all of these, but we need to remember, for in the context of when someone is reading this, and they do not have the answers, this is what's going through their head. This is how they feel. And this is what Oda and any writer wants to get from an audience. Because all of this is talking about the art itself, is getting the audience intrigued. In other words, it's making your audience compelled. So, you've given us the character, you've given us some questions about the character, and you have given us a minimal amount of answers. Now comes the hardest part. Sticking the landing. How does Oda give us answers through Kuma's backstory? Well, I'll tell you what, it was not just instantly dropped on us, okay? it was a slow build to the reveal. Because first we had Kuma being freed from Marie-Joie. Okay, that was a whole big thing, him being enslaved and abused by celestial dragons. We want to understand why all of this is happening. Who is this guy? We feel bad because this is an awful thing for someone to, be going through, especially after being modified and, being a revolutionary and all that. And we know he's important, okay? We, the audience, know that something big is coming with Kuma. And just in classic Oda fashion, he gives us one more answer that just opens up a ton of more questions. We learn that Kuma is Bonnie's dad. Now, obviously by now, this is old news, everyone understands this, but at the time, it was crazy. I mean, the implications, there's a lot. Because we're aware of Bonnie's lineage and Bonnie's tale, now connecting that to Kuma, it answers some things, puts in question some other things, but all these questions were not going to be answered until we got the backstory, and Lord, was the wait for the backstory difficult. But it all became worth it once Kuma's backstory was revealed, and oh boy, was it emotionally gripping and emotionally devastating. This video was not a recap of Kuma's backstory, so if you were expecting that, I'm so sorry to disappoint you, go find someone else. But I do want to say that this backstory is extremely emotional and extremely well written. And there's a reason that certain fans are debating if this might be the best backstory that Oda has ever made. I mean, it's a complete story of its own. It doesn't just feel like it's thrown in there. It feels organic and important, and it's a story about tragedy and loss and perseverance, and most importantly, the human will. I mean, we knew Kuma's life must have been sad, but Oda shows us a three-dimensional character with parents, wants, likes, dreams, ups and downs, hope, despair. It's crazy. We see essentially this guy's entire life story in insane detail. Him falling in love, him losing love, him finding new love. All of this for someone who, for many people, began as a one-note villain. And all of this doesn't just work because Oda, can write a really interesting story. It also works because of tension. Yes, just like in a horror movie, tension is very important. Because we began wondering who Kuma was. And Oda didn't just give us the answer instantly. Okay, he was drip feeding us information. Okay, questions that led to more questions. Having Kuma act in bizarre ways that for some will be confusing and for others will be chalked down to poor or unthoughtful writing. But by giving us that tension, as we get closer and closer to the reveal, we begin to anticipate this reveal. Okay, we see characters, we see relationships, we become attached. We begin to attach to all of these characters and understand them because Oda takes his time. One Piece is not just long because it's filled with filler or it's filled with nonsense or reaction shots. It does have a lot of reaction shots, but it's not filled with them. One Piece is long because Oda knows how to wait. Oda knows how to have patience. If he gave us the answers to Kuma instantly, it wouldn't be as interesting and it would just seem like useless exposition. But by making us want the answers and making us wait for the answers, it is tension. We want that release. We are almost becoming impatient. So when we get that reveal, just like in a stand-up routine, we laugh when there's a joke, or in a horror movie, we scream when we get actually scared. In One Piece, when we get that backstory reveal and we see that person's emotional life, we cry because Oda, as a writer, has succeeded in giving us a compelling character. So, you just learned how Oda creates compelling side characters. Not by giving us all of the answers instantly, but slowly drip feeding us information, making the audience wait and making us desire to know more. Essentially, using tension and characters to build emotion. And that's actually a big part of it. Even though a lot of this video I spent talking about tension and waiting and answers and questions, characters are super important. Because guess what? If these characters were two-dimensional, this would not be interesting at all. Hell, if the characters were unlikable, this wouldn't be interesting at all. Because we as the audience are implicitly told that Kuma has layers, because he is being surrounded by three-dimensional characters. Therefore, his lack of layers then becomes blanks that we want answers to. It's like if you wrote a scene with 3 characters. 2 of them have incredibly deep backstories, incredibly deep philosophies, and very rich personalities, and one of them is sort of just a blank slate. Now, a poor writer would only focus on the characters that are already fully developed and that the audience probably already likes, but a great writer is going to use that blank slate to create questions, and using those questions and the audience's interest in those questions to fuel the story. And it is incredibly worth it because for me, Kuma is now one of my favorite One Piece characters ever, and it is crazy how quickly he rose up the ranks with one backstory. But hey, is Kuma your favorite One Piece character? If he is or isn't, tell me why in the comments below. I love to hear what One Piece fans have to say about, their favorite or least favorite characters, so go off, go crazy. And while you're down there, why don't you hit that like button? Remember, the goal is 50 likes, okay? 50 likes and I'll keep making One Piece videos just like this. I love doing it. I love reading One Piece. I love rereading One Piece for these videos. It is just such a pleasure. And it's crazy because even though this is a very dense subject, I still feel like I haven't even hit the iceberg of what I could talk about. So yeah, hit that like button if you guys want more One Piece videos because god damn it, I will make them because I love making them. And if you love One Piece and actually want to see me read One Piece live, check out my live streams every Thursday, 7 p.m. PST. All of the VODs for the live streams are up on the channel so you can rewatch them whenever you want. So there's no shame if you can't make it live. But if you do, we're gonna welcome you with open arms. It's just a really fun time on those streams. I mean, just reading manga, hanging out, chilling, nothing too serious. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It just warms my heart anytime you guys tune in for content like this. I'm actually gonna go check updates for the 2nd season of the One Piece live action. I mean, the 1st season was real good. Anyway, sorry, that's enough for me. I hope all of you had a damn good one. Peace.